All right, let's talk about building songs out. So the way that I do it is I add the counting cues, the click track, the tempo track, and all of that to the individual song file. That way I can just drag all of that stuff pre-prepared into the set. So this is the format. When we buy the song in multi-tracks, it comes in this format right here. All of the individual tracks plus an audio guide and a click track. That's an audio click track, so it just has interlude audio clicks, and then the guide doesn't count, so it's an audio track that just, that's all it says. Interlude. And there's no real downbeat in the click, which I don't really like. I like being locked into that downbeat and knowing exactly where it is, so that's why I changed the click tracks as well. So let's build it out. Let's turn this into the format that I usually have. The first step is to group all of these tracks together, because right now they're just all individual tracks. I want to group them into one song group. So I'm going to click the bottom one, hold Shift, and click the top. And then I'm going to hit Command G. Command G for group, and it creates a little collapsible group for them. Super nice. I'm just going to click on that and hit Command R to rename it. This is On Earth as in Heaven. There we go, and I can collapse that, make it go away. Don't need to worry about it again. Now I'm going to drag in some tracks. So I have a pre-built cues track and some pre-built click tracks that I use when I build these songs. Because again, I don't want to have to create the instrument and import all the samples individually. That's a pain. So I'm going to come over to my Ableton files folder. This is the one that's available in Dropbox. And I'm going to go to the Ableton Live 10 Tempo project. This is the project that I use that has my cues track, my custom cues track, my tempo tracks, and all of that. But the first thing I need to do is take note of the project tempo. We're at 118 right now. And that's important because as soon as I import this, it's going to change. Okay, so I need to drop this down. We got our Ableton Live 10 Tempo project. And I'm just going to drag in the ALS file for that. And that's going to drop in place some pre-built cues, some pre-built click tracks in both 6/8 and 4/4, and then a pink audio tempo track. So the first step now is I'm going to change this pink audio track to 118. So I'm going to double click it. I'm going to go to its BPM. And right now it's not letting me click in there. I don't know why Ableton does this, but sometimes I have to hit this divide by 2 button. And then see how that turned black again, and I can actually double click it and change it now. So I'm going to click it and hit 118, hit enter, set that BPM to 118. You'll notice that when I brought that in, it shortened the audio tracks. They're not going to the ending now. Watch what happens now that I've set this to the right tempo. As I expand this, those tracks will snap back to the length that they're supposed to be at. So I'm just going to expand that out. And there it is. That's my tempo track. I'm going to set that sucker up to the top. This song is in 4/4, so I'm going to use the 4/4 click track and delete the 6/8 track. So I'm just going to expand that 4/4 out to the end of the song and put that up top and not worry about it again. All right, the cues are the key part. I'm going to move this up underneath the existing guide, and then I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to hit Control-C, Control-V, or Command-C, Command-V. And then I'm going to mute this one and delete everything out of this one. What this just did for me, is it gives me some tracks that I can copy and place, and then place into the actual track that I want to use. So intro, I'll just copy this and put it in this one. And then I can go around and say, okay, there's another intro here. So I'm going to take this intro cue, copy it, paste it here. But I noticed that there's something else here. So a lot of times it'll be like intro, all in, or breakdown. So I need to listen to figure out what it's saying so that I can adjust these cues to be what they need to be. So let's listen. Intro, 2, drums in. So it's a drums in cue. So I'm going to take this 3 here, and I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to change that to a drums in. Intro, 2, drums in. So now I have a custom cue that counts. Where the original cue, if we solo it out, intro, drums in, doesn't. Mine counts. Intro, 2, drums in. It's much better, trust me. Okay, so we have another intro here, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this intro, paste it here. We have verse, so let's copy the verse cue and paste it here. And I'm going to go out and actually just paste it into all the verses at once. just for time's sake. So chorus, chorus, here's another verse. I can see that that's not just a verse cue, it's got this other waveform here. So
verse 2, 3, 4.
Well, I soloed that. Let's hear it.
Verse 2, breakdown.
Breakdown. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of 3 and I'm going to make it a breakdown.
Verse 2, breakdown.
All right, let's keep going. Verse. So now I got a verse cue. And I don't worry about too much when it says verse 1 or verse 2. I don't care. I just want it to say verse because that's easier. All right, now let's hit the choruses. So I'm going to copy this chorus cue. We've got chorus here. I can tell that it's just a standard chorus because it doesn't have another waveform.
Verse 2, 3.
Easy. Copy another chorus. There's something here. Let's listen to that and see what it is.
Drums in.
Okay, so the drum's in the middle of the verse. So I'm going to double click right here to create a new region and then just make a drums in note there.
Drums in.
So that my cue will do that now. I don't need to change that. I don't need it to count. I just want it to say drums in right there. So that's all I got to do. Here's another chorus cue. Let's see what this is. Whoops. It's an all in cue. So I'm going to delete the 3. I'm going to say all in. And cool. There's another chorus there. There is another chorus here, and let's see what this says. Another all in. So I'm going to delete 3, make it an all in chorus. You get the idea. So I'm just going to go through and do that for all the different audio regions that I see. And once I'm done with that, I'll have replaced all of these audio cues with actual counting cues. And let's just say I'm done with that. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch me fill all of these in. But after I'm done with that, I'm just going to delete this bottom track so that my template goes away and I can just have the existing cues track. Okay, now the next thing that I can do, I can delete this guide because I'm not using that anymore. And then I can delete this click track because I'm not using that anymore. And so we have one thing left to do, and that's create a marker track. And to do this, I'm going to insert a new MIDI track. So I create a MIDI track, or I like keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to say Shift-Command-T. And it creates me a MIDI track. And it looks like this one's yellow. I just usually go with the default color, but you can right-click on it and choose a color if you like. But I like using the random colors because it keeps every song a different color, and that's really handy to do. This part's super easy. All I got to do is double-click to create a region, and then this whole count-off section, I call it count in because it makes me feel better than count off. I don't know why. That's the count in. Then I'm going to double-click here, drag it out, rename it intro, copy it, paste it to the next intro, paste it to the next intro. Paste it here, drag it out to the verse and rename it verse. Copy it, paste this one to chorus, rename it chorus. Copy that, paste it there. And then let's just paste all the verses. And you can do this very quickly, as you see. It's not a hard thing to do. Chorus. Now, the reason I'm doing this, you're probably going, why would you do it when the markers are right there? Well, these markers don't import. When you import the song into the new project, these markers will not come with it. So this marker track, in fact, let me name it markers, comes in place of these. So that's why it's important to have it, because otherwise you have no indication of the different sections of the song. So that's what this does. So I'm just copying and pasting and renaming these sections for that. So bridge, copy it, paste it, paste it, paste it, interlude, copy it, paste it, and then we've got outros, copy it, paste it. Use keyboard shortcuts, they're way faster. Command C, Command V for copy paste. And that's my marker track, just like that. And there you go. That's a song from start to finish. That's how I build them. Obviously it'll have the actual cues in here, but that's how I get it from the format the multi-track sends to my format. And I won't tell you exactly how I built like all of this stuff. It was tedious, but you can just use my tempo project file, import it in there, and use it. It's easy to do. And this song will now be ready to import into my set. So the next video, we're going to talk about building the set and putting things together. And that's going to be super fun. So see you there.